All right, on this video, we're going to look at a type of model that is taking a decimal number and timesing it by a decimal number. And so it's kind of decimal times decimal. A lot of times you'll hear your teachers maybe call it this. But basically what you're doing here is you are modeling, and you know, you see it here in the picture, you're modeling something that you're going to get an answer that's less than a whole. And so it's kind of like this. There are three problems on this page. When we solve all three of these problems, all three answers should be less than one. And so your answers are going to be a part or a piece or a fraction. If it were money, it would be change. It would be part of a dollar. So these could be a little bit tricky. I'm going to wait and solve, may not do all of these, but I'm going to solve a few of them with you guys so you guys can see some examples. And then it's a very good chance that you guys are going to see this on a test in the future. These are pretty popular, and sometimes these could be a little bit tricky, so you got to be careful. You really have to watch and look at all the little parts and pieces of how this is going to come together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one. The first problem is 7/10 times 6/10, or 6/10 times 7/10. And so really, when you look at this, it's almost like a math fact. I mean, you know, sometimes I'll tell my students, just forget the decimal, just forget it just for a second. So really, it's almost like looking at 7 times 6. And so 7 times 6 is 42. If you do 6/10 times 7/10, I believe our answer is going to be 42 hundredths. Because again, 42 hundredths is less than a whole. It's a part, it's a piece. So this is how these look. These are kind of different. I'm going to try my best to shade them and show them on this this app that I use for the videos. So stay with me here. I'm going to start shading. And this is really important too. This is something that when you do this on your own, I know I make my students do this for practice. When you do this on your own, you really have to get a mindset of up and down and then left and right. And that kind of sounds weird, but when you work these problems and you see me do it, it'll click. So I'm going to start with 6/10, and I'm going to actually label it on the side. But my 6/10, I'm going to think of it as being up and down. Okay, so I'm going to shade up and down 6/10. So there's 1/10, there's 2, there's 3, and I'm just doing a quick shade here. There's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and then there's 6. Okay. So just a quick shade there. I'm not trying to make everything look beautiful, but that's pretty good. Okay, so let's first talk about what I just shaded. So I shaded 60 hundredths, really. I mean, that's, if I broke this down, I just shaded 60 hundredths, which means I just shaded 6/10. Because what you have learned, and probably learned the first couple of weeks of school with place value, is if you're going to think about place value and you're going to think about the number 6/10, 6/10 is equivalent or the same as 60 hundredths. Those zeros hold a place, but they don't have a value. So I'm good there. I've shaded my part of my problem, basically. Okay, now I'm going to switch colors, and when you do this in class, you're probably going to use colors. If you're doing it at home, you might, be doing it on Class Kick or something, and you might switch colors. But what I'm going to show now is I'm going to show 7/10, and I'm going to label that down at the bottom. 7/10, I'm going to be thinking more left to right. And so I'm going to shade 7/10 starting in the bottom, and watch how I do this. I'm going to shade 7. In this case, I'm going to think more like rows. So there's 3. There's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and then there's 7. Okay, so now that I've shaded both, I've shaded up and down 6/10, and I've shaded left and right 7/10, I really am done modeling this problem. The key here is finding the answer. And so the answer is actually on the hundredths grid right now. You just got to know where to find it. And so a lot of times I'll tell my kids, you gotta look for the overlap. So I'm gonna write that down here at the bottom. This is, in my opinion, really important because honestly, the overlap is your answer. It's where your two, in this case, my two colors crisscross and they overlap each other. And so I have a little section here, and I'm going to circle it in black, where my two colors have crisscrossed each other. And if I were to, and it's hard to see, but if I were to go count every little individual square that's in this model, then I would count 42. Okay, there's 42 hundredths that just got crisscrossed or overlapped each other. And so it's kind of strange to see that, and it's kind of strange to see that, okay, I did all that work just to get that answer, but it's really, it's a good model of what's happening here, because a lot of kids would look at this and they might think, ooh, 6/10 times 7/10, that's going to give me an answer greater than a whole, when it's not the case. 6/10 times 7/10, you're actually going to take both of those things, and when they overlap each other, you're going to get an answer in the hundredths. And so this proves the math, basically. I mean, when you could go algorithm here. I mean, this would be the algorithm. I could put 6/10 times 7/10. Again, 7 times 6 is 42. But if I moved my decimal correctly, then I would get this answer of 42 hundredths. And so a lot of kids, they might understand that algorithm, but they truly don't understand, why is it hundreds? Why are we just only getting something in the hundreds here? And so now with this model, I can now prove it. When you take those two together and you multiply them, you could see it where the two colors overlap, you're going to get something in the hundreds. And so it's kind of strange. It's different. You definitely did not see this last year as a fourth grade student. So it's going to take some time and some practice to get used to it. Okay, I'm going to try to do one more on this page. I'm not going to do every single one. So I'm going to switch, and I'm going to go over to the end, the last problem, which is 3/10 times 6/10. And again, I'm going to take the same approach here. I'm going to think, okay, up and down and left and right. So this time up and down, I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to think, okay, this could be my 3/10. And I'm going to start it on a different side of this model. This time I'm going to kind of start it on the right side. So I'm going to go up and down with 3/10 or 30 hundredths, because it's the same thing. And then I'm going to take my green color here, and I'm going to go left and right. And left and right, I'm going to go 6/10. And so I'm going to start at the top, and then I'm going to shade 6 of these rows going across. Okay. And again, these aren't the prettiest models that I'm giving you here, but I think you get a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to that word. So overlap. Where do you see the two colors overlapping? Well, in this time, I kind of started this one at a different location. So I see the overlap happening actually up here in the top right corner. And I see the yellow and the green overlapping each other. And I could tell there, if I were to go count, I would have one. I'll actually do this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There are 18 hundredths there that just got overlapped. And so, and again, you could think just math fact, 6 times 3 is 18, but it's going to be 18 hundredths. When you have tenths overlapping each other and crisscrossing like that, it's going to create a hundredths grid, and then that's where you get your 18 hundredths. All right, I'm going to do one more on this side, this page, because we're going to do plenty of these for practice. And so I'm going to take this, let's see which one I want to do here. Let's just do the one in the middle. I mean, it's going to be a pretty basic answer, but sometimes the ones that are really basic get kids, so you can't let that get to you. So 1/10. I'm going to think about my 1/10 being up and down, and it's going to be in blue. So 1/10 up and down, I'm just going to shade this on the very first column here on the left side of my hundredths grid. And then my 9/10, I'm going to switch to green here. My 9/10, I'm going to think more left and right. And then this time, I'm going to think, okay, this is going to be almost all of it because 9/10 is like 90 hundredths. So I'm going to shade quite a bit of it here. So let's see. Make sure I shade, make sure I got my overlap happening. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the black color to show that overlap. Right now I am looking at a little bitty section right through here that is my true overlap, which if I know anything about math facts, 9 times 1 is 9. So my answer here should be 900. So if I go and I put dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it looks like I have 900ths as my final answer. And so, again, on these, they're kind of strange, but you're really thinking about crisscrossing two groups, in this case, 2/10, two groups of tenths, crisscrossing each other and making basically an overlap area where you could find your answer. And a lot of them are just math facts. I mean, everything on this page here would be math facts. So again, it's really easy to like jump to that answer and go, oh, okay, I get it. Like on number 1, it'd be easy to go, oh, I know it's going to be 1500ths. Well, that's okay. It's not terrible to think that, but you still have to understand a model. I mean, if they throw a model at you on the test and you're clueless and all you've known is algorithm all along, oh, I can do algorithm, this is pretty easy, then you're going to be in trouble. So you got to know everything. You have to know algorithms. You have to know how to do these models. You have to understand the models. So practice makes perfect. You just have to practice some of them and you'll get them down.